What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. So today you guys are in for a treat because we've got current Cloud9 mid laner Goldenglue with us for today's video. And since that means we've got access to all his insight into League of Legends, I figured it'd be pretty cool to have him go over some different things and make a video about things that Challenger players do that really make them stand out from the rest. And he's also been putting out a lot of his own content on his YouTube, so you can check him out at the link in the description. But Goldenglue, let's introduce yourself and say hi.
Hey guys, my name is Grayson Gilmer, better known as Goldenglue, and I've been playing professional League of Legends for over 3 years, and I've been Challenger every single season since Season 3. Today I'm going to show you guys some special tips and tricks that Challenger players abuse to win their games and outcarry their opponents. I also have a YouTube channel where I upload highlights from my stream, showing you how I personally carry my games in the upper echelons of Challenger.
Okay, great. Definitely check him out at the link in the description below. There's all his social media and all that good stuff, and there's also some really cool content up on his YouTube. Anyway, let's dive right into some of these Challenger level tips. Of course, when you're playing at that level, you need some serious mechanical ability, but there's a lot of other stuff you might be thinking about that could definitely help you climb, and that's the kind of stuff we're focusing on today. So if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like on it or let us know in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe for some more videos. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it does feel like the vast majority of my early game deaths in game tend to happen because of the jungler. One of the best things you can do to get around this issue is to track where the enemy jungler is in your head at pretty much all times. Even if you don't know what side of the jungle a specific champion starts on, the best way is to just find out to see if bot lane leashed. If they're slow to get to the lane, if they're late, or maybe if they're missing mana or something, it's a dead giveaway that the jungler started bot side. So as he continues to clear his jungle, you know he's going to end up in the top side, so top or mid, a couple minutes later, need to be careful for any potential ganks. If bot lane didn't leash, then you'll probably turn up bot or mid for his first gank later. If you've no idea where the jungler is, or if you know he could be in your lane, you really just have to play it safe, maybe sacrifice some pressure and focus on staying alive until the enemy jungler either shows up or reveals himself somewhere else. A lot of the times junglers can get really tunnel visioned onto the specific path that they do in every game, and that can easily end up in you being able to take advantage of them or maybe wasting their time. You can also track the enemy jungler by keeping an eye on your own jungler and as well the vision that you have across the map. If your bottom laners have covered the bottom side of the map in a bunch of wards, then the jungler is probably just more likely to be near the top side. As long as you pay attention to the map and stay aware of where all the dangerous blank spots in your vision are, you'll be much more prepared to avoid or deal with any potential ganks. Building on from that, it's definitely really worth playing the vision game a lot more in games just in general. On average, Challenger players buy so many more wards in a game than lower ranks, even in Diamond or Master tier, where a lot of players can expect to see these kinds of things happen. A lot of people still have this outdated view that only a support places wards possibly, but Riot went to great lengths to get everyone playing the vision game, and on average, Challenger players tend to buy 20% more wards than even just Diamond players, and don't even get me started on Bronze and Silvers. You know, this is why they introduced trinkets in the first place, but you definitely always want to go the extra mile and get some control wards in every game, always, no matter what role you're playing. You can focus on warding your own lane as a safety net, roam to another lane, help them out if they're maybe getting camped or something, or if you just can afford to spare the pressure, or maybe even plant some riskier wards near the enemy jungler to help your team plan invades or catch their jungler when he's not expecting it. If you really treat vision like another objective, you're definitely going to be dying a lot less and creating a lot more opportunities for yourself too.
Okay, so one of the things I always see happen in lower ranks is that people will happily chase some guy half across the map just to pick up a single kill. Obviously, kills are really important, but it's even more important to know when you need to focus on taking objectives rather than chasing kills. Like if you're going to choose between picking up a tier 2 turret, for example, or chasing deep into their jungle for a kill, you're probably better off just taking the turret and opening up the map. At the end of the day, you want to win the game, and taking the objectives is the best way to do that. Challenger players pretty much always know when it's time to group up and take an objective, and it becomes a team effort rather than half the team hitting a turret while the other half is looking for picks in the jungle. If you had those people in the jungle who are looking for picks hitting the turret, you could have maybe even got 2 turrets by quickly rotating after killing the first one since you have more people hitting it. It's really important to know what to prioritize when you're going for objectives. That takes us to my next point, which is knowing when and how to push your lead. If you gain an item, level, or even summoner advantage over your opponent, you need to know how to maximize your impact on the game. Most challenger players have a really good understanding of what their champion's strengths, and they utilize those to the max when they have a lead. For example, if you end up having a lead on champions such as Twisted Fate, Aurelion Sol, or Talia, you will want to be pushing in your lane as much as possible and roaming to the side lanes to get a team-wide advantage. Other champions such as Zed, LeBlanc, or Syndra, who are extremely strong 1 versus 1, will want to keep threatening kills on their opposing laner and forcing them to miss even more gold and experience. Another good example of pushing your lead is if you take the enemy bot turret and then invade the enemy jungle afterwards, you can drop some wards and maybe even take the dragon on the way out, whereas more lower tier players would end up just taking the tower and backing out and not really pushing their lead to the maximum that they could. Understanding the limits of when you need to back will help you win more games and just give the enemy no chance to come back.
Cool, so the next thing I want to actually look at is item builds. Now it's definitely really easy to head onto one of those guide websites like Mobifire or whatever and look at what items people are using, but the thing is that you always got to keep in mind is that those players are probably just using a few core items that you should maybe care about, and they're definitely always playing in a different game to you. You should always, and I mean 100% always, be tailoring your build based around your individual game, meaning your opponent's team composition, any specific champions that are going to be giving you a hard time, as well as your teammates' team composition too. It's also worth looking at what items your opponents have so you know when to buy certain things. So for example, on an AD carry, you want to build damage of course, but if you're against 2 to 3 tanky champions and they already have a ton of armor, you really need to think about getting some armor penetration to balance things out. But this is really especially applicable when building defensive items. Building a key defensive item that you might need can really change the tide of games so often, and it's something that challenger players do without even having to think about. They just build based on what their opponents are doing, not what they should be doing. And next up, challenger players also use their resources in a game a lot more efficiently. That's true for gold in terms of items like we just went over, but it's also true for their time. The time is a very valuable resource in League of Legends. They're always thinking about what's happening. You should always be thinking about what your win condition is for the game, what your next move should be, when is your next power spike. And this helps keep you off of playing just autopilot without thinking, and it makes you a lot better at proactively playing the game rather than just sitting around and reacting to what the enemy team's trying to do. Think about where you could place a useful ward, or which lane you want to push, or what items might help you out in that situation. You know, just always be thinking about something. And if you ever find yourself not actively thinking about this kind of stuff when you play, then really, you've stopped trying to win the game with your brain, that's for sure.
I want to talk a bit about mistakes, because you see a lot of players in denial that they fucked up, or just not really recognizing what they could have done better. And you don't really reach the top levels of play without being super critical of yourself, and no one starts out the game as a challenger player. When you're able to identify what your mistakes are, you're able to work on them and know what to do differently the next time. Eventually, and ideally, you get to a point where you're reaching the best potential outcome for every given situation in game. And that's the difference between a challenger player and everyone else. This is especially important when you're trying to notice missed opportunities. It's easy to die and think, okay, I was in a bad spot, but missed opportunities don't involve death, so you don't stop and think that you made a mistake. Even in a perfect game, you can find hundreds of things that you could have done slightly better. It makes reviewing your games really important because it helps you notice the things that you didn't notice during the game. The last piece of advice I want to give to those people who want to reach the highest level of play is going to sound pretty obvious, but just play more. Obviously, it's really easy for everyone to get discouraged by losses, and not everyone is cut out for the grind. But the one thing that every first-time challenger player has in common is that they played a ton of games to get there. It's true that the higher your win rate is, the less games you have to play to climb, but even if you had a very impressive win rate of 60%, it's still taking a massive games to climb to the top of the ladder because of LP. The rank system is designed so that players that play more will climb more, and if you turn every game into a learning experience, you can maintain that win rate as you climb more and more. Remember that League wants you to find a rank where you can have a 50% win rate. Win streaks and losing streaks exist, but the only way you can really accurately define your win rate is to play a ton of games and let it average out. Don't just tank a few losses and get discouraged. Keep playing and keep learning, and good luck.
And that's actually just about going to wrap it up. Thanks so much to Goldenglue for joining me on today's video. Definitely check out everything related to him at the links in the description below. He's a really cool guy, and I've had some awesome times to hang out with him before in person too at TwitchCon back in the day, so he's really cool. Definitely check him out. And thanks again to him for joining us on today's video. If you enjoyed the video, definitely let us know in the comment section below, or leave a like, or maybe comment on who I should make a video with next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.